I don't even know who Sijara Eubanks is, and I'm the commentator for the UFC.
Winning a gold medal was once seen as the pinnacle for combat athletes, but today it's merely a gateway to a potential career in MMA. This is a list of athletes who made a switch to MMA, from future UFC champs to those who wish they'd have stayed in the amateurs. Welcome to the INC, and these are 5 of MMA's gold medalists. Henry Cejudo was an Olympic medalist. Not that he ever told anyone.
Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medalist.
An Olympic gold medalist.
You are, by the way, we should acknowledge, an Olympic gold medal wrestling champion.
As you've probably worked out, Cejudo struck gold at the 2008 Games in Beijing, becoming the youngest American in Olympic history to win a medal in freestyle wrestling at only 21 years of age. After failing to qualify for London 2012, Cejudo turned his attention to MMA, and after a 6-0 record was signed to the UFC in 2014. Cejudo was the 3rd gold medalist to fight for the promotion, and justified the hype with fast strikes in combination with his grappling, scoring wins over flyweight contenders Sergio Pettis and Wilson Hayes.
Another knockdown for Cejudo! Henry Cejudo with his first UFC finish!
In 2018, Cejudo took on Demetrius Johnson in the co-main event of UFC 227. Johnson had beat Cejudo in the two's first meeting in 2016, but the Messenger would have the last laugh, utilizing his wrestling background to take the crown by split decision, and become the first man in 7 years to beat the flyweight legend. UFC President Dana White was so shocked he even put the belt on the wrong way around. Cejudo is 10-2 in MMA and has teased a match with UFC bantamweight champ TJ Dillashaw. Rulon Gardner is one of the most infamous MMA gold medalists. At the 2000 Sydney Games, Gardner created one of the biggest upsets in Olympic history when he became the first man in 13 years to beat Greco wrestling legend Alexander Karelin, turning the Wyoming dairy farmer into an overnight sensation. At Pride Shockwave, Gardner made his MMA debut after fellow gold medalist Hidehiko Yoshida, who was 4-1 with his wins over Don Fry and Mark Hunt. Gardner dominated the early stages after dropping Yoshida with a jab, before the judoka responded with a heavy overhead as the fight turned into a stand-up brawl. By the end of the second, Gardner's weight advantage saw him take control, landing multiple takedowns and leaving the judo champion visibly exhausted. The result was a foregone conclusion, with Gardner claiming a unanimous decision in the only MMA fight between the 2 gold medalists. Despite support from Boss Rutan, Gardner turned his back on the sport, reportedly turning down $1 million for a match with MMA legend Fedor Emelianenko.
I didn't look at my career as being just about money, try to make as much money as I could. I looked at it as trying to do the right thing and be smart and enjoy the journey. And, right at that time, it just didn't feel right to, jump back in and continue to fight.
Today, Gardner works as a high school wrestling coach and holds an MMA record of 1 win and 0 losses. Not all MMA transitions are successful, however. In the early 2000s, Karam Ibrahim Gaber was one of the most dominant men in Greco-Roman wrestling, winning the gold medal in Athens with 11-point margins in his final and semi-final matches. When Gaber moved to MMA in 2004, wrestling fans anointed him the sport's next superstar. His fight with Kazuyuki Fujita at K1 Dynamite little more than a mere squash match. Gaber started the fight strongly, dropping Fujita with a flurry of punches, but a tendency to raise his chin while striking soon made cause for concern, something Fujita exploited just a minute into the fight. After the fight, Gaber returned to the safety of the wrestling mat, winning silver at London 2012 before being suspended in 2015 after a whereabouts failure during his doping test. At least he got that part of MMA right. Satoshi Ishii has had one of the more colorful transitions to MMA. After winning gold in judo at the Beijing Games, Ishii switched to MMA in 2009, with hopes he could revive interest in a sport which had suffered after the loss of pride 2 years earlier. After starting his career with a 4-1 record, Ishii was fast-tracked to a match with Fedor Emelianenko on New Year's Eve 2011. Although Fedor was past his best, many considered the fight to be too much, too soon for the 24-year-old. And they were proven right 2 minutes later.
Ishii trying to measure up with his right, and again Fedor drops him! The big kibosh.
After teasing a return to judo, Ishii enjoyed the best form of his career, amassing an 8-fight winning streak against some of the sport's most established names, including former UFC stars Pedro Hizo, Jeff Monson, and Tim Sylvia. In 2015, Ishii was involved in one of the most controversial fights in recent history, when he was accused of taking a dive against Jiri Prochazka in a match with Rizin in 2015, and leading to a brief exodus from Japanese MMA events. Ishii currently holds a 16-8 record in MMA, winning his last fight by submission in Linz, Austria. The most recent MMA medalist is two-time Olympic champ Kayla Harrison. Harrison made history at London 2012 when she became the first American to ever win a gold medal in judo, before successfully defending her title at the Rio Games 4 years later. As a former training partner of Ronda Rousey, rumors of a switch to MMA had dogged Harrison for years, when in 2016, the Ohio native announced her intention to compete in the sport full-time. Harrison made her debut at PFL 2 against 3-4 journeyman Brittany Elkin, dominating a one-sided fight before winning by armbar in the middle of the first round.
Here it is, there it is.
And it's over! Kayla Harrison! Golden in her debut!
2 months later, Harrison faced a jump in quality against 8-1 Josette Cotton. Harrison showed a diverse approach to the fight, mixing head kicks and takedowns, but still maintaining control of the fight, stopping Cotton by TKO early in the third.
It is all over! She is golden again!
Harrison is 2-0 in MMA, and has targeted a major title by the end of 2019. And now time for a few honorable mentions. Kevin Jackson struck gold at the '92 Barcelona Games, and later fought for the first UFC light heavyweight title. Taekwondo star Jade Jones has expressed interest in MMA. Not that many men are complaining. Alexander Karelin competed in his sole MMA fight in 1999, surprising many with wild spinning techniques that made Anderson Silva blush. Just kidding, he wrestled the shit out of him. This is the INC, and thank you for watching.